Hello there and welcome to this American Civil War Epic Battle Report. So I've been doing a lot of bolt action recently on the channel and I've been having quite a few requests for some more epic battles. So here we go. I thought I'd put another game on for you, so another ACW game. Now, if you've been following the channel, I've done a lot of scenarios out of this booklet here. This is Glory Hallelujah, which is the Warlord Games supplement for games of American Civil War. It's not specifically for epic battles, but it's just for that era. It gives you lots of flavour to add to your games, and also a lot of scenarios, which I've been playing games for, but also offers you the opportunity to just create your own lists. It's got a points, sort of a theatre selector, where you can basically create your own army based on points. So I've gone for a 600 point army today, so 600 points per side. It's roughly 600 points anyway, and I've chosen the Western Theatre and 1863. So it's a really good, it takes you right through the war, gives you various options for the units as you get from the early part of the war, where the units were less experienced, right to the end of the war, where obviously a lot of guys had seen the elephants, etc. So, so this is not a specific scenario. This is some generic farmland out in the Western Theatre somewhere, perhaps near Vicksburg or somewhere. So we've got some cornfields, a little farmstead over here. We've got the rail station coming through and a couple of hills and just outside of town there. So I'll come back and explain some of the scenario, the terrain rules. But as I say, it's a 600 point game, bit of basically a head-on-head, winner takes all type style game. And I'll go over and have a look at the forces now. Right, so we'll start with the Confederate Army. So this is 631 points of Confederates. It's very difficult to get right on the nail, 600. And also these guys have got an extra brigade commander compared to the Union Army, so that does knock the points up a little bit. But effectively it's just about 600 points anyway. So putting this together, I've got a divisional general. He is command rating 9. So rather than the standard commander reroll that you can use as the kind of basic black powder rules, I'm going to use the battlefield general rules for this one. So basically he's got a command rating of 9, and basically if he's within command range of any of his brigade commanders, they can use his command rating, because they're all command rating 8. So anybody in command rating of him can be a 9. So it's a bit more flexible than the usual reroll, because he can move around a little bit, move around the battlefield, given his superior command rating, giving support to his brigade commanders basically. So that's him there, and then we've got the Confederate 1st Brigade. So we've got 3 regular infantry regiments and a brigade commander, command rating 8. Now I have rolled, I'm also going to give 1 special rule per army. And I've rolled, there's a little table you can roll on, and he is hesitant. So it just means he's a little bit cautious in the battlefield. So, but he's the brigade commander for them. Then we've got the 2nd Brigade. And now these guys have been around a little bit. Oh, by the way, these are armed with rifled muskets. Now these guys here have been around a little bit longer. So these are a bit more experienced brigade. 2nd Brigade. So I've given these the Rebel Yell. These are actually all armed with smooth bores as well. So these guys are a bit longer in the tooth. Got some of the older uniforms, a bit more ragtag. Got the smooth bore muskets, but they've got the Rebel Yell, so it means they're pretty tough in combat. So but maybe looking for these guys to be more of a supporting brigade with a hesitant commander, and these guys trying to get stuck into the Union forces in close range. Again, 3 regiments. Then we've got a 3rd Brigade, and this one here is basically 1 regular regiment and 2 small regiments. Again, maybe they've taken some few more casualties in the campaign. Again, his command rating 8. We've got a small cavalry brigade here. The first regiment there has got shotgun and pistols. I thought I'd try that out. I've never tried shotgun and pistols. Not particularly good for long range, but when you get close range, they're quite deadly. And then a 2nd cavalry regiment there with rifled carbines. Okay, so and again a command rating of 8 for the brigade commander. And they've got some divisional artillery. So I've got some I've got a 4-gun 12-pounder regiment, which is the ones over the blue, so the green kind of carriages there. So they're 12-pounders. And then we've got some howitzers here, which is the brown limbers there. So they're, again, 12-pounder howitzers. Howitzers are quite useful because you can actually shoot over, which is useful. So that's the 631 points of Confederates. So let's we'll quickly nip over to the Union and see what's facing them. Okay, so over to the Union Army. This is 602 points of Union, so close to the 600 points, but again, they've got one less brigade commander, which is effectively 25 points is the cost of a brigade commander, so pretty much just that is the difference really. So again, we've got the general, command rated 9, again battlefield general, so he'll be able to give his command rating to any of his brigade commanders within their command range. Then Union brigades are slightly bigger, so we've got the 1st Brigade here. Now these are, again, they're a mixed bag. So I've decided with these ones, again, command rating 8 for the brigade commander. But the two large, regular regiments in the middle have seen the elephant. So they've been in quite a few battles of recent. Maybe they were fighting at Vicksburg or something. So they've seen the elephant. They know what it's about now, what this dreadful war is about. So a little bit harder for them to get into close range with the enemy, but still experienced. And they've got two smaller regiments attached to them, and these are both freshly raised. So it just means they're basically new. So they've been put together to try and see what the old hands do. But being freshly raised, they're a bit random when it comes to shooting, so you have to roll a dice. I won't go through all the rules now, but basically there's a bit of a randomness to their first go at shooting. They might be good, they might be bad. We'll have to wait and see. So we've got the basically inexperienced, seen the elephant guys with the freshly raised. And then the 2nd Brigade, these are just standard. Oh, by the way, these are all rifle. These are rifle muskets. These are smoothbores. So they're giving the smoothbores to the new guys. And then the 2nd Brigade here are all rifle muskets. Just 3 standard regiments, but also another freshly raised small unit there with smoothbores. So again, it's got some reinforcements basically have come into this divisional force here today. And then we've got a slightly larger cavalry brigade. So 2 units there with rifle carbines, and the one at the back there has got smoothbore carbines, just a slight difference in distances and ranges that you can fire. And again, a bigger artillery contingent as well. In the centre here we've got some 6-pounders, horse artillery, so they should be nipping around the battlefield a little bit quicker. Slightly shorter range, but got that movement with the horse artillery. And then on the flanks there we've got 2 12-pounder regiments of artillery, 4-gun batteries for 12-pounders. Just by the way, in my games, each stand, 2 stands is 4 guns basically. If you have 3 stands, it's 6 guns, but these are all 4-gun batteries, and that just affects how many dice you roll when you're shooting. Okay, so that's 602 points of the Union. So let's go over to the deployment, see how we go on. Okay, so that's the deployment completed. So I rolled off for it, and the Union got the won that roll off, so they got to choose which side of the board they were on. So I put them on that side here. Basically, there's a 12-inch deployment zone each side. All the units come on a marching column, so they start in march column as if they're kind of all assembling. And then basically it was the Confederates put the 1st Brigade down, then it was alternate brigades. So the Confederate deployment was basically more towards the right-hand side here. So we've got the 3rd Brigade here on the right. We've got the 1st Brigade with the hesitant brigade commander here. So he's got that 3 units there, plus he's got some attached, they're the howitzers attached to him. Got the general in the centre, given his command range, command modifier, potentially out to all 3 of those commanders. They're all within command range of him. And then we've got the cavalry in the centre, and the 2nd Brigade with the rebel Yale guys on the left here. And they've also got a battery of 12-pounders supporting them. So that was their deployment. Again, it was alternate. On this side, counter deployment by the Union, we've got the 1st Brigade here. So these are the guys that have seen the elephants. They're kind of on the left flank, just holding this area here. Again, general's in the centre, so he's in command range of both of these guys here. These also had an attached battery of 12-pounders. Then we've got this centre unit here. I forgot to mention that in the army section, this general got aggressive. So actually he's pretty good, tasty in getting people into basically to combat, so he's an aggressive commander. and also he's got some 12-pounders supporting him. And then the right flank here, we've got the Union cavalry with the horse artillery as well, just at the back of this farm here. So Confederates more towards the left and centre, and the Union pretty much spread out across the board. In terms of the terrain, these cornfields basically provide, if you're either in it or behind it, you're not a clear target basically. Just keeping it all simple. The fencing here, if it comes into play, is soft cover. If you're getting shot at from behind there, obviously that doesn't stop cannonballs, but certainly for muskets and things like that. All the trees are just here for a bit of decoration on the table. I'll move them around. They don't actually provide any cover. It's not even light woods. It's just dispersed trees around the farmsteads around this town. So, okay, so I'm going to come over and do a quick roll off to see who gets the initiative. You have to imagine that both armies are forming up, so which one gets the initiative on the other, which one catches the other one out. So we'll just come back and do that roll off. Before I do the roll off, just to clarify as well, in terms of the victory for this, it's just a standard game, so it's basically broken brigades, broken army. The Confederates have got the 4 brigades, so once 2 of those are broken, the army's broken. And again for the Union, they've got 3 brigades, but again half would be 2, because obviously you can't do 1.5. So both basically got to get 2 brigades broken to break the army. Once that's done, then that one side wins. I'm going to max out at 8 turns just because of time. So we'll see if we get on over 8 turns, but that's simple. So let's do the roll off to see who goes first. So grey dice is Confederate, blue dice Union. And the Confederates get the initiatives. They get the jump on the Union. So we'll go into first turn. Right, so that's the end of command and movement for the Confederates on turn 1. Pretty successful, as you can see. And just want to clarify as well, I use 2/3 ranges. So the ranges that are recommended in the black powder rules for movement and shooting, I make it 2/3. I used to use half a lot of the time, and in fact I've got some videos on that. But I've found over time that the games are a bit slow. So I've now changed to 2/3, and I find on a 6x4 table, which is what I use, that's plenty. As you can see how much they've all been able to move just in one turn. Also, because they're all in march columns, giving out the orders, it was quite straightforward to get them all off, plus the general was in range for 3 of his commanders, so actually really efficient way of getting everybody up and into line. Anyway, so the commander here moved his units up 2 moves and into line, so he got that off. And then we got the howitzers down here. They did trundle up a little bit, although they are just in range now, 24 inches. In the centre here, lots of movement. This commander is hesitant, and basically that means if you roll for 3 moves, you have to re-roll it, and he did. So I had to re-roll it, but luckily then 2. So then he moved 2 up there. The cavalry have bombed up the table, dismounted, so they're now basically dismounted cav, which again, historically, the cavalry were a bit more skirmishing and dismounted rather than the Napoleonic era of lance charges, etc. So they've now just outside the cornfield. And then on this left flank, this brigade has just moved up to kind of just check the potential flanking manoeuvre from this cavalry here. And again, the 12-pounders have just shuffled up 1 move. Again, for American Civil War battles, if you're new to it, but black powder anyway, if you move more than 1 move, you can't shoot. So none of the infantry can shoot this turn, but the 2 artillery batteries can fire. So we'll come back and do a bit of shooting. Okay, so let's start with the howitzers down here. Now howitzers are great because they can shoot over the heads of their colleagues without any penalties. However, they are shooting at a column, so that's +1 to their roll, so a 4 becomes a 3. However, they are over half range, so it's back to 4. And they're not a clear target because they are looking through that unit there. So, but howitzers also get double dice, so 2 dice, any range, so needing 5s. There's 1, and that's a disorder as well. Because it's -2 as well, they don't get a save, so that is a casualty and a disorder onto that regiment just there. Okay, so let's nip over to have a look at the other artillery. Okay, so the 12-pounders are opening up at that centre cavalry unit there. Again, over half range, so -1, and shooting across the cornfield, so they're not a clear target. So again, they're going to need that 6 to hit. No. Okay, so that's a miss. Okay, so that's the end of Confederates turn 1. Just obviously a lot of manoeuvring, bit of shooting. So let's see how the Union respond in their turn 1. Okay, so it's the end of commander movement on turn 1 for the Union. Just basically haven't moved much. The Confederates clearly are being aggressive today, so the Union just decided to deploy into lines. I think they're now in range for some of the shooting, so down here this unit couldn't move because it's disordered, so the rest of them have just deployed into lines. Artillery just swiveled around a little bit here. Centre here, again, all into lines. This unit just moved forward a bit because they've got the smooth bores, so they need to be a little bit closer. And then again, the artillery just shoveled up a little bit on the manhandle. But on this side, this commander, unfortunately, who's out of range from the general's influence, failed his order. So the only unit that moved was the limbered horse artillery, would get a free move. So even if you fail an order, you get a free move. So they've just come around into the cornfield, but they've also, because they're horse artillery, they get a free unlimber, basically, as a free move. So yeah, so that's good news for them. So they've got some shooting to do. So let's come back and do a bit of musketry and artillery. Right, so as you can see, the Union lines have erupted with fire. But before we get to that, we've got a couple of freshly raised units here. So the way that works is the first time they either shoot or get into hand-to-hand, you have to see how they're going to perform. Are they going to do well, or they're going to bottle it, basically? So the rules are down here, so I have to roll a dice for each unit. So we'll start with this one here, see what happens. So first one is a 6. Brilliant. It says, huzzah. The unit performs unexpectedly heroically. It gets an extra bonus shot or attack this turn only. It's well done to you guys. So if you're up for the fight today, and for that unit there, let's see what they're doing. They're a 4, sterling job. So the troops do their duty, no effect. And also we've got a unit over here that's freshly raised. Let's see what happens to them. Okay, wait, also it was going too well. So terror. The unit are overcome with terror. For this turn only, all shots and hand-to-hand attacks need 6s to hit. In addition, the unit is immediately disordered if it is not already so. Okay, so not quite the same as these guys. So let me do that and I'll come back to the shooting. Right, so we'll start with these guys who get the extra dice. They're only a small unit, so they get 2 plus the 1 is 3. Shooting at this unit here, needing 4s to hit. Okay, so that's probably why they're freshly raised. They haven't learned to shoot yet. Okay, so that's them done. Then we've got this small unit here. We'll do those next, actually. They're going to be shooting across at their counterparts there on 4s. Again, smooth bores. 2 hits, though. Much better. They get 2 saves of 4+, because they're morale 4. 2 save, though. So that's that. And then we've got this centre unit here. Is going to be shooting up at the middle one. They've got 3 dice, because they're a regular unit on 4s. That's 2 and disorder, 4s to save. That is 1 casualty on them and a disorder. I'll just come back and do that in a second. And then we'll just come and do the artillery. I just wanted to quickly measure that. So yes, these are within half range. They're going to shoot across. There's 2 dice then. So these are the smoothbore 12-pounders. So in half range, getting 2 dice on 4s. Okay, they're already disordered, but that is 2 hits. That is -2 from their save because they're at medium range. So that becomes a 4 becomes a 6 up. No, so that is 2 casualties. They're already disordered. So that's actually 3 casualties. So they're now shaken. So some good shooting from the Union on this left flank here. That's the first Confederate unit shaken. Okay, let's come across to the centre. Right, so over to the centre then. So this unit here, it's now disordered. Basically, they're going to be hitting on 6s anyway because of what happened in the freshly raised. They're just going to shoot at the skirmishers. They're going to be 6s anyway, so might as well do that. So just a 2 dice. No, and then we've got this unit here shooting across here. Now, because they're other side of the cornfield, they're still not clear targets because they're shooting through it. So again, that's going to be 3 dice, but they're going to be hitting on 5s. But also because they're skirmishers now, that's an extra -1, so there's going to be 6s. But there's 2 hits and disorders, and then 4 ups. No, so that is 2 casualties and a disorder on that unit. So that is pretty good shooting, actually, for there. So we might as well continue the pain. So this centre unit will also shoot at them as well. Again, going to be needing 6s. And another hit as well. Okay, and a 4 up. Oh, missed. No, so they are now shaken as well. So this Union opening fire, opening salvo is really punishing the Confederate troops. So we might as well, this unit will fire at these guys. See if we can get these shaken. No hits there, again 6s. And then we'll come back and do this artillery. Actually, it's just a slight correction there. It was 5s to hit for these guys because I forgot. It's been a while since I've played actually Black Powder. I don't think they stack, so because basically they're skirmishers and also with the cornfield, they're basically just not a clear target. So it was just -1. Looking back at the footage though, I did get all the 6s anyway. There was no 5s in there, so actually it's worked out to be fine. So we're over to this unit here now. The artillery 12-pounders shooting at this unit here. Just now again in medium range, so we're getting 2 dice on 4s. Just the 1, and then it needs a 6-up save for -2. No, so that is a casualty onto that unit there. Okay, so then we'll finally come over to do the 6-pounders here, the horse artillery. Probably going to shoot at the same unit. Come back and do that. Okay, over to the horse artillery. Now, slight little rules issue here. So basically, you have to shoot at the closest target in Black Powder. So technically that's these guys here, but they're not clear targets because of the cornfield. So, but neither are them as well. So, and if it's not a clear target, you can technically ignore them. However, I'm going to play it that because they're both not clear targets, I've got to go with the closest one here. So, again, they're just outside of close range, so 2 shots hitting on 5s because not a clear target. Didn't matter anyway. Okay, so forgot to put the cannonballs into the cannons. Okay, so that's the end of turn 1 for the Union. Pretty good going actually. Couple of shaking units across the line for the Confederates. So a good start for the Union on turn 1. So let's see how the Confederates react in turn 2. Right, so that's the end of command and movement on turn 2 for the Confederates. Tale of 2 sides really. So this side here, obviously with that unit there being now shaken, they're on the hill if you remember, the commander took a view, well, clearly this is quite a strong position. You've got 4 infantry regiments and an artillery battery. We've already got 1 unit shaken. We've got to be careful about broken brigades. So 1 more shaken unit would potentially break that unit brigade. So basically a disorderly retreat off the hill to give them some protection. You do get a double disorder now, so they can't recover disorder at the end of this turn, but you need to just protect the brigade a little bit and also move the other regiments back off around. But it also kept the firing lane now open for the howitzers to continue to shoot down here. So a bit of a tactical withdrawal on this right flank, but clearly the commander doesn't want to take on all that firepower at this time. Centre here, a lot happened. So obviously again we've got this disordered cavalry unit here, so couldn't move. But the commander ordered this, the first cav, these are ones with shotguns by the way as well, to move up within range of that artillery unit there. I'll come back to shotguns for the shooting phase, but and then this centre brigade here with a hesitant commander managed to get all 3 of his units through. It's really handy. I like this new using this general role where you can use his command rating. It's really quite useful. But also, even though he's hesitant, he was only passing his orders by 1, so managed to get them through here. There were some passage of lines checks. Again, that's a specific ACW rule. You have to, when you're moving through, you have to roll. So these 2 had to roll for that. They passed, so they got through into the cornfield. And then there's the left flank here. This commander basically shuffled the artillery at 1 move. These stayed where they were, and they got this unit here to move through. Again, passage of lines check cast through that unit through to there. So Confederate commander being quite aggressive again, pushing right hard onto the Union lines. So let's see how we got into the shooting phase. Okay, so the Confederate lines have opened up onto the Union. So starting on this flank here with these howitzers, they're going to shoot again at that column that was in march column. The disorders come off them now, but they couldn't change their formation. So we're getting a +1, -1 because of the range. So 2 dice hitting on 5s. Close. Okay, so let's come across to the centre. Right, so we'll start with this unit on the right, shooting at the small unit there. Now these are in close range, so they will hit on 3s. That is 2 hits, and then we need saves of 4+. Note that is 1 casualty onto that unit there. These will have to fire at these as well because they are the closest target. So again, but they're just outside close range. So these are hit on 4s. Just 1 hit there and a save of 4 required, which they do make. And then unit in the centre here is going to fire at that centre unit there. So again, 3 dice on 4s. 2 hits, 2 saves of 4 required. Another casualty on there. then we're going to come to the shotguns. Now the shotguns, the rules, there isn't anything particular. Now I think you should get a benefit from having shotguns because their range is pretty poor. But looking at the value of, if you look at the points for them in the book, it's quite high points for taking cavalry with shotguns. So I think they should have some sort of benefit. So I've added it, they get 1 extra shooting dice. I mean, the shooting shotguns at the end of the day, they're going to have lots of pellets peppering across at that artillery unit. Anyway, so they do get 3 shots because they are a regular unit, but so I'm going to give them 1 extra shot. And also they are within close range, so that becomes 3s, but they are shooting at deployed artillery, so that becomes back to 4s. Just the 1, well, and then a 4 up. No, so that is a casualty though, onto the artillery. Let's put that onto there. And then we've also got this unit here. These are just outside of close range, so hitting on 5s, because again 4's not a clear target, but they have hit once. And needing that 4. No. So that artillery unit is shaken. So that is something. Okay, so let's come back to this side. So we'll start off with the artillery. So we're going to be shooting 2 dice because they're in medium range, but they're not clear target because they're in the cornfield, but they're also deployed. So either way, they're not clear. So it's going to be 5s. Nothing there. Then we've basically got these guys here. So 3 shots here on 5s. No. And these shots here on 5s. 2 hits and a disorder, and then 2 4-ups required. No, so that is shaken and disordered as well. So that's actually a decent round of shooting for the Confederates. Not a huge amount of casualties coming along the line on the infantry, but that's 2 artillery batteries shaken. Now they don't count towards the brigade in terms of being broken, but obviously that's going to now hamper them in terms of their shooting back. Okay, so that's the end of turn 2 for the Confederates. Pretty aggressive, getting right into the grill of the Union, apart from this flank here. So let's see how the Union respond in their turn 2. Okay, that's the end of command and movement on turn 2 for the Union. Okay, so this left flank, as you can see, the commander here, seeing the retreating Confederates, decided to be aggressive and basically managed to get a 3-order move. So his whole brigade moved up, right up to the edge of here. They can't shoot this turn because they've moved more than once, but trying to capitalise on the fact that the Confederates had withdrawn from that area. And then in the centre here, a few things went on. Firstly, the artillery stayed here, by the way, and just swiveled and moved into close range of that unit there. This is the aggressive commander, so I thought, well, let's try and be aggressive then, try and get some charges in. Charging is quite difficult in ACW. It basically reflects the period. There wasn't a huge amount of frontal charges and stuff like that, so so there is a -2 command modifier for ordering a charge. You can't charge on initiative either. But he's got aggressive, so he gets +1 to ordering into charge. So basically needing a 7, but failed twice here. Tried to get these to charge in, but managed to get these to charge at these guys, to charge at the cavalry. They evaded successfully, so they mounted and moved, which they can do. But I framed the order enough so they could charge into this unit here, which they've done. So we are going to get a bit of hand-to-hand combat, albeit these do have the rebel yell, so they're up for that themselves. And then this artillery unit just swiveled here, so we can shoot across. But this cavalry commander failed his orders yet again. So the cavalry just sitting there chewing some hay. So the general, in the final move of the command phase, moved across on his horsey just to get within command range here. Just give him a bit more support to try and get him to move in the next turn. Because at the moment this flank's stalled, not doing anything to the battle. Okay, so there's a fair bit of shooting to do, and we've got a bit of hand-to-hand as well. So we'll come back for that. Right, let's see if the Confederates can weather this storm then. So first off, we've got a artillery battery here in close range. So they're getting their 3 dice and they're going to be hitting on 3s. So this could be painful. Could be worse, that's 2 hits, but that will be 6s to save because they're in close range. I did see one there, but that is 2 casualties already onto that unit there. That's not a good start. And then we've got this small unit here shooting, but they have got smooth bores. So they are in close range. They do get that extra dice, so they're getting 3 dice, hitting on 3s. Wow. They were freshly raised, if you remember, so they've obviously learned how to load their muskets now. So they are disordered. And 3 saves are 4+. almost, but that unit is now shaken, so they will have 3 casualties. I'll put a shaken marker on in a second. So that's good. So we've got a shaken unit onto that brigade. So now these are going to open up onto these. These are the closest target. They're a little bit obscured, so they're not clear target anyway because of the cornfield. So, but it's 3 shots hitting on 5s. That is 1 and a 4 up. No, so that is a casualty onto that unit as well. And then these guys are shooting across here, so again on 5s. 2 hits and disorder again, so disorder there. And 2 saves of 4. But they do make the saves. Could be worse, but we have got this last artillery battery here that's going to fire at them as well. So this is going to be 2 shots hitting on 5s. No, that was lucky. So that could have been painful. Okay, so that's all the shoot. Oh, no, we've got this one here. Let me just come across and do that. So once again, I'm shooting across here on 6s because they're now disordered as well. They do hit though, and that is a 6 up. No, so it is a casualty and a disorder. So there we go. The horse artillery have done something in the game, which is always good. Okay, so that's all the shooting done. So we'll come back and do this hand to hand. Right, so over to this hand to hand. Now, these have got the rebel yell. However, I've just read the rules again because it's been a while since I've used it. And they have to charge to be able to get it, which is a shame really. So anyway, so the Union charge, they get 6 attack dice at hand to hand, plus 1 because they charge, they're hitting on 3s. Remember, there's no disorder in close combat, so that's 4 hits for the Union, and then 6 back for the Confederates, hitting on 4s. Wow. They might not have the rebel yell, but they've certainly got their blood up for this fight. So that's 6 hits for the Confederates. So that's 6 saves of 4 plus for the Union. So that is 2 casualties onto them. And then we've got 4 saves of 4. Can they do that again? They can, so they got 1 casualty. Okay, so we'll just add all this up in terms of supports. So, yeah, 1 casualty for them, 2 for them. They are supported to their rear and to their side, and these are supported here. So the Confederates do win that combat. So I'll just test for the Union. Okay, so there's a break test for the Union. So there's no modifier, just 2 dice. That is a 6. So that means they will be retiring 1 move. Yeah, I think did they become disordered? I'm not sure, but they're definitely retiring 1 move. Okay, so I'll just consider what the Confederates are going to do as a follow-up. Okay, so that unit's retired 1 move. Had to go through the cannon here. Because of that, because you can retire you can advance on a retiring unit. Because these are in the way, they can't do that. They're not cavalry, so they can't do a sweeping advance and charge. So basically, they're just stuck there. But obviously, they have moved off the line now. They do become disordered as well. So that's the end of the Union turn. Interesting one. Quite a successful turn in terms of advancing here. Lots of casualties and disorders in the centre. Tried a bit of a charge but failed, so that's not very good news. And also the cavalry stuck here, but hopefully next turn with the presence of the general they can do something. So let's see how we got on to turn 3 for the Confederates. Right, so that's commander movement on turn 3 for the Confederates. So this commander here, this flank just stayed still. Obviously got a lot of Union in range for shooting. In the centre here is quite a bit gone on. So first of all, just trying to think how I can break this Union brigade. So that one, they're shaken already. So if you can shake another unit in this turn, then that brigade becomes broken. So this commander down here, using the general's command rating, managed to get that unit to charge in. Now again, he is hesitant, but he managed to roll just effectively 1 move, which allowed them to get in. So that was good. Remember, there was a -2 as well, but he rolled a 7, so they're fine. And they're stuck where they are. They're stuck where they are. This commander here got this unit again to mount, come through here, and dismount again. So that's the shotgun guys. Tried to rally off a casualty here, but failed, which is a shame. And then this commander here, this unit moved up on initiative into close range. This unit moved up into here on initiative to close range, and these moved up on initiative into close range as well. So hopefully to try to clear out that horse artillery that's holding up this edge of the board here. Okay, just to clarify my thoughts as well. It's very hard to charge into formed artillery. They get closing fire anyway. You've got a -2 command modifier, so really need to try and shoot them off the board. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so no hand-to-hand this turn, but lots of shooting. Right, we'll start on this flank here. So these are going to shoot here. Now these are smooth bores, so again you get the pour it on boys special rule, so they will be getting their extra dice. So that's 3 dice at close range, using on 3s. That's 2 hits and a disorder. 2 saves of 4. So that is a casualty. So that's 1 casualty onto them and a disorder. And then the centre one here will be firing up here. Now they are shaken and disordered, so they will be getting a penalty there, but they are in close range. So again, pour it on boys because there's smooth bores, so hitting on 4s. Just the 1 though. And a 4-up save. No, so that's a casualty onto these as well. And then we've got we're going to start with these guys. So they're going to shoot across. Again, getting the 3 dice. So pour it on boys. They are a small unit. 4s. Yeah, 4s. 3s. Sorry. Actually, I need to just check what I did there because that would have been 3s. But let me come back to this. 3s. That's 2 hits and a disorder. 2 saves of 4. Just 1. So I'm just going to check the footage. I might have missed something on this side. And 1 casualty. And then we've got the howitzer in short range, but they only get 2 dice still. But again, they're hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit and 6 up to save. No, so that is 2 casualties onto them. So they're now shaken as well. Let me just check the footage on this and I'll come back. No, I did check. I did get it right. They were hitting on 3s, so they're fine. Okay, so we'll come across to the centre. Okay, we'll start with this unit over here that's shaken and disordered. They're going to be shooting at the artillery, so they're not clear targets. They're also shaken and disordered, so that is hitting on 6s, but they are in close range, so back to 5s. Wow, 2 hits and a disorder, 2 saves of 4. They do make it, but that is a disordered artillery battery. That's good. These dismounted cav can shoot at that unit there. They are within range. They get 3 shots with their rifle carbines. They are, again, not clear targets because of the cornfield, so 5s. Nothing there. These guys are shooting across here. They're disordered, so it's going to be 6s. No. And then we've got the shotgun guys on there. Obviously, got the extra dice for shotgun. But they are deployed artillery, so they're going to be hitting on 4s, even though they're in close range. But that is 2 hits and a disorder, 2 saves of 4. That is that excess casualty. So they are disordered, and they've got 1 excess casualty, so they will be making a break test. But we've got these guys as well shooting 3. Oh no, these are 4 dice because they are, again, smooth bores. Pour it on boys on 4s because they're close range. Another 3 hits. And another casualty. So that's 2 excess casualties onto that unit there. Just make a note of that. And there, oh, dropped it. Okay, and then we'll come over to this side. Right, so again, pour it on boys. 4 shots, hitting on 3s normally, but deployed artillery in a cornfield. Bores. That was a 5, so that is 2 hits. 2 saves of 4+. They do make it. And then we got these here. Again, not in close range. These are going to be hitting on 6s because they're also disordered. Nope. And then we've got 3 shots here from the artillery. We've moved up. They are now in close range. So we're getting 3 shots hitting on 5s again. And there we go. 2 there, needing 6s. I'll just do that. Okay, so yeah, that horse artillery battery is proving an absolute nightmare to shift. Okay, never thrown that before, but there we go. Okay, so I think, it's got a hand-to-hand combat. We'll come back for that. Right, so we've got a regular infantry unit with 6 dice against the Union, which is 4 because they're small. So they charged in, so they're hitting on 3s. Okay, that's pretty below average. That's 3 hits. And then we've got the Union hitting back on 4s. 3 hits as well. Okay, so the Confederate slaves on 4-ups. There's 2 casualties. And the Union slaves, 1 casualty. Okay, so they've both got 1 support each. So they're both in their rear arcs. You can only get 1 support from your rear arc. So the Union do win that battle. These are now shaken as well. So we'll be testing. So I'll just come back and do that. Okay, so there's no particular modifiers. So we're going to be on a 6 is a retire. However, they are shaken, but also I forgot, because they're a small unit, they're now shaken. So technically, that's a bit of a score draw, because now the Confederate Brigade, this unit here, these got 2 shaken units, so that's now broken. But also now that Union Brigade is broken, which was the whole purpose of charging in. Wasn't expecting to get broken myself for the Confederate player. However, that's it. So both of those brigades are broken and will be retiring from the field. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, so I'll do those moves, and we'll head over to turn 3 for the Union. So again, end of commander movement for turn 3 for the Union. So on this flank here, these stayed still, basically going to try and fire in. However, these 2 units manoeuvred around on initiative to try and focus fire onto that small unit there, because again, we've got 1 unit shaken, so could potentially break this turn, which would win the game. And sadly down here, the centre brigade is now retreating off the battlefield. You can just remove them, to be honest, but I think it's more thematic to have them still on the table. And then this really poor cavalry commander. So even with the general being there, what I was trying to do is get them to move across to this flank to try and plug this gap, because obviously they're going to be retreating. They've got a lone unit here to try and put some pressure here. Blundered and basically rolled a 5, so to just make 1 move forward. So they've only just ended up just sort of aimlessly galloping into the cornfields here. So 3 turns in, completely useless commander, probably going to get sacked after the battle. But anyway, there we go. We'll see how we get on. So I haven't got a lot for them to do actually, but we're going to have some shooting over here. They can shoot because they've only made 1 move, but we'll start over this side with this brigade. Okay, so I'm going to shoot from this side of the table because it's easier. So we've got this unit here with smoothbores. They are disordered but in close range. So again, it's pour it on boys, hitting on 4s because they cancel each other out. But nothing there, that's not a good start. Okay, these are already shaken, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So 3 shots on 3s, in close range, just the 1 hit. Union shooting, deserting them at this late stage, but they do save. So it's down to these guys here. Can they do anything here? So we've got a unit here. It's in close range, but they are shaken. So they're going to be 3 shots hitting on 4s. Well, that's more like it. So that is a disorder. And 3 saves of 4. There it is, 1 casualty. So they're just 1 away from being broken. So this unit here is going to be firing in, again, close range. Getting that 3 shots because of pour it on boys. That is 3 hits. Need to make these saves. 3 saves of 4 required. That was close, but there it is. So that brigade is now broken because that's another shaken unit. Let me come and do the shooting over here, and we'll come back and have a look at what the result of that is. Right, so we've got the artillery shooting at this unit here at close range. The 3 shots, they are shaken, so that's -1, and it's shooting the cornfield, so it will be 6s. They do get 1 though, and that's a 4-up save, which they do make, but they are disordered. And then we've basically got 2 shots here, 1 from each of these with their pistols into here. So again 5s because they're not clear targets, 1 under disorder, and a 4-up save, which they don't make, so they're disordered. Okay, so that's the end of the shooting on turn 3 for the Union. Let me just double check, but I think that might be a victory. Okay guys, yes, that is the end of the battle and a Union victory. So yeah, with that brigade broken here and the 1 broken here, which will be retiring in the next turn, that's 2 brigades broken to the Union's 1. So yeah, so the Union have won it. I'm going to get criticised on this channel, I think, because I think the Union tends to win most of my games. But honestly, that was a fair point. In fact, the Confederates had a slightly bigger army in terms of points. So what do I think of that? I enjoyed that actually. It was a good game. Sometimes black powder can be over in 3 turns. Sometimes it doesn't end. This was one of those quicker games. I think it was interesting. I think maybe the deployment here wasn't amazing in terms of the Confederates, because although to be fair, they deploy first and then the Union counter deploy with that slightly larger brigade. And despite that aggressive advance, that initial salvo did knock this unit around. And to be fair, because it's only turn 3, I've not had a chance, because they had double disorder, not had a chance to basically rally off that casualty. And that was why I tried to retreat, because realistically I wanted to try and recover that and keep the brigade in order. But the Union advanced quickly, closed in, got the extra casualties, broke that brigade. Centre, I think, worked well for the Confederates. Kind of double teamed that brigade there. We had the brigade here plus the cavalry. Thought they were pretty good, nipping in and out of combat and shooting with the shotguns. Quite like the fact that the cavalry got involved for the Confederates throughout the battle. And again, although this unit did break in the end, it did its job in terms of breaking that centre. If they hadn't broken though, could have been a completely different game. I was confident that a regular unit could have steamed in and with those extra hand-to-hand dice cause that additional casualty. But you know, that's the dice game for you. So maybe that was again, with little nuances. And this left flank here, well, again, I don't know, this is an interesting one maybe for the Confederates. Stuck a little bit trying to face off against that one lone artillery unit. It's very difficult to charge in American Civil War, and also as well you're getting a face full of canister shot as well. So that can, again, got to be careful about getting shaken and broken brigades. Because to be fair, the Union cavalry did absolutely nothing the whole game. So there's a whole brigade just sat there doing nothing. But in the end, maybe that was good, because there's no casualties, there's no chance of being broken. So good game overall, enjoyed that one. Nice little scenario. I like using the points. I might try another couple of these and mix it up a little bit, see what other units might bring. A few more special rules perhaps as well on some of the units. Yeah, and go from there. Right, I hope you all enjoyed that. Nice quick one today. Again, usual stuff. I'm always enjoy the comments that I get, any likes and all that sort of stuff. But keep yourself safe, and hopefully catch you all very, very soon.